Hi, I'm here with a critical observation on the anti-racist equals anti-white mantra. So I saw this video a while back and I noticed the mantra popping up all around the web. I'm not pro-racist and I'm not anti-racist, but I am an American, and as an American I believe we have every right to like or dislike whomever we choose. What I don't like to see is people being duped by silly propaganda that's only meant to distract from the shenanigans of our government. So I'd like to point out some blaringly obvious contradictions for those who were not able to recognize them on their own. First, here's the video.
I've been thinking a lot about a phrase I've been hearing, that anti-racist is just a code word for anti-white.
It's starting to make sense. They say that they're anti-racist, but what they really are is anti-white.
Think about it.
Nobody says that a black neighborhood needs more diversity.
Nobody says that an Asian neighborhood needs diversity.
White neighborhoods and only white neighborhoods are said to need more diversity.
Nobody says that a black church needs more diversity.
Nobody says that Asian churches need more diversity.
White churches and only white churches need more diversity.
Black pride is seen as good and healthy and normal. Asian pride is seen as good, healthy, and normal.
But if I show pride in my race, the white race, I'm said to be a Nazi who wants to kill 6 million Jews.
If a black woman wants to date inside her race, that's acceptable. If an Asian woman wants to date inside her race, that's acceptable.
But if I want to date and marry within my race, the white race, I'm called the R word.
Black politicians are openly admitting that they are working towards the best interests of their people. Hispanic politicians are openly admitting that they are working towards the best interests of their people.
If a white politician were to openly admit that they were working in the best interest of their people, there would be a national scandal, a public outcry, and would be kicked out of office.
Throughout elementary school, junior high, high school, and college, I was told that my race, the white race, was the cause of all the world's problems. Now, many of you had jobs where minorities say things that would get you, as a white person, instantly fired.
This conditioning is done to white people and only white people. White children and only white children are being affected by this, and only white countries are doing this.
The Aztecs conquered many surrounding Native American tribes, practiced human sacrifice, and held slaves.
Yet anti-racists don't say that Mexicans must apologize forever and have their lands forcibly flooded with non-Mexicans and be forced to assimilate.
The Ottoman Empire attacked white Slavs and took many of them as slaves, so much that we get the word slave from the Slavs.
Yet anti-racists don't say that the Turks must apologize forever and have their lands flooded with non-Turks.
World history is a rainbow of violence.
Yet all whites and only whites are demonized for this violence. Anti-racism is the code word for anti-white. Resist this conditioning by using this mantra.
Africa for the Africans, Asia for the Asians, white countries for everyone.
Everybody says that there's this race problem. Everybody says that this race problem will only be solved when the third world pours into white countries and only white countries.
The Netherlands and Belgium are just as crowded as Japan and Taiwan, but nobody says that Japan and Taiwan will solve this race problem by bringing in millions of third worlders and, quote, assimilating, unquote, with them.
Everybody says that the final solution to this race problem is for every white country, and only white country, to assimilate, i.e. intermarry with all those non-whites.
What if I said that there was this race problem, and that this race problem would only be solved if millions of non-blacks were brought into every black country and only black countries?
How long would it take anyone to realize I'm not talking about a race problem? I'm talking about the final solution to the black problem.
And how long would it take any sane black man to notice this? And what kind of psycho black man wouldn't object to this?
But if I tell the obvious truth about the ongoing program of genocide against my race, the white race,
The obvious truth about the ongoing program of genocide against my race.
The ongoing program of genocide against my race, the white race.
But if I tell the obvious truth about the ongoing program of genocide against my race, the white race, liberals and respectable conservatives agree that I'm a Nazi who wants to kill 6 million Jews.
They say they are anti-racist, but what they are is anti-white.
Anti-racist is a code word for anti-white.
Okay, so right off the bat, the mantra is illogical. You can already see that this video is using a lot of wordplay to stump and kind of confuse the simple-minded. I mean, how can anti-racist be a code word for anti-white when racists come in every shape, size, and color? Prejudice, racist, racism, those are not words synonymous with white. Racists aren't just white. So if you're a thinking person, in this video you're going to notice a lot of nonsense and made-up information. One woman claims that she can't have pride without being called a racist. Really? By whom? Never mind the fact that white pride is demonstrated every single day in the United States through institutionalized white supremacy. But if you still feel your pride is being suppressed, then I challenge you to point out just one minority who has confronted you and said it is not okay for you to have pride. I don't think you'll be able to do it. So at another point in the video, one of the women claims to not be able to date and marry within her race without being called a racist. Excuse me? The norm in America is same-race marriage. Now, I don't disagree with other forms of marriage, but the norm is same-race marriage. So to say you're called a racist for wanting to date and marry within your race, that's a pretty stupid argument. More ridiculous is anyone who would actually fall for this line and try and promote it. It's ridiculous. Now, I could have touched on every single inaccurate point, but I don't want to make a long-ass video. It's already going to be on the long side because of the media that I'm including, but I just have to touch on this last quote. The woman says, everybody says that the final solution to this race problem is assimilation in every white country, and only white countries. Really? 'Cause I've never heard anybody say that, and I don't think that you have either. White people are all over the globe, just like everybody else, and some are not just visiting non-white countries, but expatriating and settling and assimilating into those non-white countries. Ever heard of apartheid? So there are white people doing exactly what you're complaining about. So it's not only whites and white countries being affected by immigrants. And furthermore, I hope you're not trying to say or lay claim to America being a white country. Because if I remember my history correctly, America is a Native American country with parts being originally owned by Mexicans. Because whites came, saw, scammed, cheated, killed, and conquered does not exactly make it a white country. maybe something along the lines of an occupied country, something similar to that, but no, America's not a white country. If anything, it's a melting pot of everyone all over the world. Like I said, you can be as racist and prejudiced as you want to be. Everyone has a right to their own opinions. But what I really believe is we have a whole lot bigger problems going on in our society, like the war on the Constitution and on our rights, and abuse of power, police brutality, the degeneration of our children and their education, a corrupt tax system, and so much more. Let's get with correcting some real problems that are affecting us all right now, and worry about the petty stuff later. Do you know what makes a joke funny? It's because there's always an element of truth in a funny joke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with some Louis C.K. on being white in America.
Sorry I'm being so negative. I'm a bummer. I don't know. I shouldn't be. I'm a very, lucky guy. I got a lot going for me. I'm healthy. I'm relatively young. I'm white, which thank God for that shit, boy. That is a huge leg up. Are you kidding me? Oh, God, I love being white. I really do. Seriously, if you're not white, you're missing out, because this shit is thoroughly good. But let me be clear, by the way. I'm not saying that white people are better. I'm saying that being white is clearly better. Who could even argue? If it was an option, I would re-up every year. Oh, yeah, I'll take white again. Absolutely. I've been enjoying that. I'm going to stick with white. Thank you. Here's how great it is to be white. I could get in a time machine and go to any time, and it would be fucking awesome when I get there. That is exclusively a white privilege. Black people can't fuck with time machines. A black guy in a time machine is like, hey, anything before 1980? No, thank you. I don't want to go. But I can go to any time. The year 2? I don't even know what's happening then. But I know when I get there, welcome, we have a table right here for you, sir. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's lovely here in the year 2. I can go to any time. In the past, I don't want to go to the future and find out what happens to white people, because we're going to pay hard for this shit. You got to know that. We're not going to just fall from number 1 to 2. They're going to hold us down and fuck us in the ass forever. And we totally deserve it. But for now, whee! Now, if you're white and you don't admit that it's great, you're an asshole. It is great. And I'm a man. How many advantages could one person have? I'm a white man. You can't even hurt my feelings. What can you really call a white man that really digs deep? Hey, cracker. Oh, ruined my day. Boy, shouldn't have called me a cracker. Bringing me back to owning land and people. What a drag.